Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these coins then, shall we? We'll work out what's going on. I know things are looking a bit grim at the moment, and I kind of knew that they were going to go grim when I saw the pre-market to the Nasdaq and S&P open up in the red yesterday. The second they opened up like 1% down. So something told me at that point that today is likely to be a red day, and it certainly has been a red day. I mean, some of these coins are extremely red. More alerts telling me there that there's more red, and there's going to be so much more red the way things are going. And all these silly sort of pumpy coins like SXP, you know, I'm sure they will pump up again, but it makes me happy to be playing along with the strong coins, and by that I mean XRP. I know that sounds crazy because it's not looking very strong at the moment. It's falling off a cliff, and that's good, because what we really want to see is we want to see this come down to 22 cent, because 22 cent is basically what I would consider the bottom. If we can double tap that bottom, that would be an excellent place to go long, and that's what I'm looking at doing. I'm scalping the markets constantly at the moment on Bityard. They've got all kinds of epic promotions of actually on Friday they're going to be trading with no fees on Chainlink, so I'd get involved in that. Get yourself an account set up with the link below, and every Friday they change the coin that's free trading fees, so you know that's an absolute rare delight. So but aside from that, so the Nasdaq has certainly been red for a while now. This is a daily chart. We can see we're more than consolidating now. It looks as though we're falling. When we look at the S&P again, we're kind of dropping. This is a weekly chart here. As you can see, the weekly is actually looking pretty nasty already. We've only just opened up this week. Let's go to a daily. So we might find a bounce here. If we don't find a bounce here, it's done and dusted. Unfortunately, this is actual price action. It's not related to the Dixie. The Dixie's had a little bit of a bounce, but that's, I would say, as a result of the movements of the markets rather than vice versa, which is what was happening before. The Dixie, the price of the dollar was going up, and stocks, commodities and cryptocurrencies were going down. Now what's happening is that things are going down while that's staying level, and it's only moved up a little bit because people, it's you know, you guys trade crypto, you see the market cap of Tether go extremely high when things are dumping. It's the same with the dollar for all other financial assets, and so that's what accounts for this little green here. It's not because the green moved first, it's because the moves of the market moved first. So that's what's happening there, and I wouldn't read too much into that. Bitcoin dominance still moving up, which means that some of these micro cap and generally most of these cryptocurrencies are going to be moving down dramatically. But that's good, because like I say, what we want is we want XRP to continue with this move down, so we can get to around about 22 cent. 22 cent is where we found our base around this level here, and I'd like to see that get tapped again. Now, you might think that's unrealistic, so let's have a look at Bitcoin to work out what it actually means and if it is realistic or not. So what we're looking at here is a full-on giant size daily Bitcoin chart. We have this trend line here where we get rejected and supported and rejected and supported many times over the last 3 years. Now we broke above there, and now we're being supported above there, but we're failing to make any substantial move like what we would like to see and what we have seen in the past when we've broken above here. So let's go back in time, all the way back to 2017, where this trend line kind of began. So we found ourselves being rejected here. These don't look like big moves, but trust me, they are big moves. From that rejection here down to the bottom, that's a 40% retracement, 42.5% retracement. So what happened here is we broke ourselves above there, and we came down to test it, and down to test it again, moved up, down to test it, and then finally we launched from it. If we go back a little forward in time, what we see is when we had that parabolic run, we came all the way back down to test it exactly there, and then all the way up here, and then down to test it again. And then what happened is when we finally came down to test it on this occasion, around 7,000, we broke down beneath it. Let's have a look at that breakdown. That breakdown here was a 16% move, so it's not massive on that occasion. Again, broken down here. Came up to test it. This time it was resistance, and unfortunately that broke down, and that was a 17.5% move. Look at this one here. This is I remember this happening here. We launched all the way up, and from this one here, just could not take it any longer, and a full-on massive retracement down to basically what we now know as, or consider to be, the bottom. 58, almost 59% retracement. Now that's previous chart. This is the modern day Bitcoin. All right, so this is since we had I suppose the new wave of bull market. So yeah, we had a long way to go before we tested that trend line, and yet we broke above it here. We tested it, retraced, bump, and shot right up here, and then we used that more or less as a support for a while until we couldn't take it anymore. Let's have a look at this one. I know I'm boring you to death with all these measure moves, but it's worth taking note of, especially if you're trading and holding altcoins. So yeah, we retraced 23% there. Look at this move here, absolute beauty of a move, until you reach that trend line, and then you basically retrace a matter of 36, almost 37%. So this trend line means a great deal. So yeah, we came up here to test it, and this is just recent. This is just last month. Came up to test it and broke back down as a 20% retracement. So if this fails to become a support, then we're looking for at least a 16, I'd say, percent move down for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin breaks down 16%, what does that mean? For altcoins, it means tragedy, especially for these micro cap, small cap coins. They are going to be absolutely annihilated. If we look at what's happened today, and you know, we're going to look at XRP, but if we look at what's happened today, well, that's cheating, isn't it? Really, that's cheating. Or is this candle body here? This candle body here. That's a 3.5% down move for Bitcoin. But if you look across the board for some of these other altcoins, especially SXP, in fact, let me just have a look on my phone and see what the state of that is right now. SXP is down 15, almost 16%. It's not looking very good for SXP, nor is it looking good for anything at all, actually. If you look at Bitcoin, yes, it's fallen reasonably well, and you've got to agree at this point now that actually, you know, when it comes to it, XRP is not falling as bad. And I know that sounds silly to think that we're judging the strength of something by the amount that it's falling, but that's how you want to look at some of these things. Yes, you can pick up some of you can try and catch some knives on things like SXP, but you could easily get stuck in a horrendous coin. There's no reason why that should continue to go up. There's no reason for it. It's not really got fundamental value to it, and nor do many of these things. But with SXP specifically, that's one of those coins that was just, it was so overhyped. I mean, I run a Telegram, and I remember when people were getting excited about it, they were just flooding it. Oh, buy this. Oh, it's going to go to 100. As soon as you hear people talking that kind of nonsense, you know that that something's not quite right. And yes, it did pump, and we kind of all sort of got on board for some of that pump, but it was just as well we got out. Now, I've been buying little bits back here and there, and I profited quite dramatically on some of those bounces, but the last ones I've been burned on, so I'm leaving the hell alone, and I'm sticking to the strong. And the strong, I believe, is going to be the top cap coins with a handful of small cap coins to go with it. Like Harmony One, for instance. If you look at that, that's not fallen a great deal today. That's that is a micro cap, small cap coin that could quite easily make a decent pump. Anyway, I digress. Let's have a look at what's going on with this. So we're gonna work out on the weekly some form of situation here with a fib retracement from where we actually recently pumped from, or pumped to, and we're going to see how this takes us, what sort of price action this is going to take us to. So that would be the top. What is going on? I've not even done a fib retracement there. It's been a while since I've done that. Right, here we go. So these are the levels that we're looking at. Okay, so we can see that we got rejected from the top of this golden pocket. Okay, so the bottom could be in at this level of 24.5 cents. Okay, if that breaks down, there would be a relatively sizable possible full retracement all the way down to 22 cents. Now 22 cents would be the absolute bottom. If it broke down beneath there, it would be catastrophic, and I don't think it's likely to happen. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Let's work out what is going to happen with Bitcoin. So if this were to break, and this is 12,800, we'll call it, or just below, if this breaks down, then we've got a whole tons and tons and tons of supports beneath this. All these moving averages are supports, so I can't give you a definitive answer like I could do on XRP, for instance, with the fib retracement, which perfectly matches with that 22-cent bottom, there I would probably say that we're going to have dumps along the way, and this upwards trend line here is where we're going to get supported from. So what I would suggest is be extremely careful. I'm just going to check my position. Oh, that's looking very nice on Bityard there, $500 profit on the Nasdaq short. Yeah, sorry about this. You got to keep on track of your positions, guys. Got to keep on track. So what I would say is this is likely to, if this does break down, this is likely to be extremely nasty for all these altcoins. I'd get yourself into Tether if you solely trade in altcoins. If you don't, if you just trade with Bitcoin, then I'd say maybe towards the end of this, if this were to drop all the way down to this trend line, then that's the area to buy altcoins. And I would expect at that point some of these altcoins will be absolutely, they'll be so cheap, it'll be unbelievable. But you know, side with the strong, alright? If you're in it for the long run, side with the strong. And if you've not watched my video on the XRP market cycle, that's something that might interest you, because the way that I've charted it, the way that this performs, and this is throughout history, okay? This is since 2014, this is the way that XRP goes. It has a market cycle similar to that of Bitcoin, but different in the way that it operates. It basically spends the vast majority of its time cooling off from a giant parabolic run, something that dwarfs that of Bitcoin. Last time, basically, the parabolic run took place in the last 6 to 7 months, or since its previous parabolic run. So it's done 2 parabolic runs in the past. The first one was enormous, and then consolidated for 3.5 years, and then after that, it rallied even more than the first one. And now it's cooling off, essentially still cooling off now, and the way I see it, it's going to be cooling off until next May. Next May is when we're going to start to see some really interesting big bold moves with XRP. You can see that at the moment, the way that it's falling, you know, relatively well in comparison to these other altcoins, showing me that, you know, yes, you can buy this and you can buy that, but actually XRP might be one of the better ones to buy for the long run. But don't expect giant moves from it until next May. But down at these levels could quite easily and most likely are the bottom for XRP. And when I'm talking about the bottom, we're talking, you know, when it launches from there, we're talking 10 to 20x from those levels. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. But like I say, if you have not joined my Telegram, if you're not subscribed, please do so. And also, I've got get yourself onto Bityard, especially for the free trading fees. They've got the lowest fees that you'll find. Look at that, 0.25%. That's tiny. 0.025%. That's like 3 times less than something like Bybit or Binance, especially, has really high fees. So get yourself onto this and get trading. Links below. You get free Tether as well to offset your trading fee to offset these minuscule trading fees just for setting up your account. Anyway, thank you for watching. Take it easy, and I'll see you later.